Yes, a very warm welcome to you and thank you for joining us on Health and Wellness. My name is Zaitun Ali and on today's episode, we want to discuss something very different. I know you're seeing how colorful our set is and we want to talk about infant and a child nutrition. So what is a balanced diet for a newborn? What is a balanced diet? Not actually a newborn. Newborns, we know they breastfeed, but okay, the infants, the toddlers, once they reach 10 years old, you know, what can we give them? And right here on set, I am joined by the amazing Josephine Wandia. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Asante.
She is a maternal, infant and child nutrition advisor and she's going to give us the tips today. Unasema you're feeding the baby, anakimbia kidogo, ametema, ataki, kukula, na unaona bado ako na njaa. Today, we'll get the details as to what is the best food that we can give them. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Great to have you on the show again.
Thank
the last
you.
time we were in Mombasa.
Yes, we were.
Unakumbuka ile joto ndio ilikuwa inatumaliza.
And the sweating.
We were like this, we were just like this. But yeah, we had a very great discussion. You can find it on our YouTube page as well. It was the baby bump to baby fair. Yes. Again, yeah. She's also a maternal advisor. Oh God, you do amazing work.
Thank you.
From Kenya Association
for Breastfeeding.
Yes. Okay, great. Yeah. So, what do we have today?
So today I'm very excited because like you said, we focus a lot on breastfeeding. Yes. And we know breastfeeding, the first 6 months is exclusive breastfeeding, meaning only breast milk. But now what happens is that when moms get to, or when baby gets to that 6 months, moms are like, now what do I do? How do I continue this journey of feeding my baby?
It's the hardest, by the way.
It is. Complementary feeding is very, very, okay, it's perceived as complicated because we don't talk enough about it. So I'm very happy to be here so that we are not just giving the same foods. You're actually supposed to give specific foods. So it's very important to understand why those foods. Why are we now giving food? Why can't we just continue breastfeeding for 1 year?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Batata wezi. I know moms out there wanagojaga 6 months to give you. You cannot continue. You know, supplementing is good enough.
Yes.
I started supplementing someone. My son is here today. I supplemented him at the age of 5 months, actually.
You tried? Okay.
You
tried.
Imagine.
You tried.
Yeah. I didn't do exclusive. And he's very healthy, by the way. So moms, don't beat yourself about it. Yeah, there's also that.
We are not here to judge. We are not here to judge. And it's important to also remember, even as we are introducing, we're introducing pole pole. So that baby is still going to need the breast milk. So for the first 1 year, like you're saying, lazima ungangane kidogo, because that baby will start eating small amounts. So they start with 1 tablespoon like this. And then by the time now they're getting to that 1 year is when their combined food is actually in this container.
Okay.
Combined. Kwa hivyo kama ni ugali, kama ni nini, yote inajaa hapa. So sio ati ugali, not ugali here, skuma in this one, and then you expect the baby to finish that. No.
Okay.
Because they are still drinking a lot of milk. Hopefully it's still breast milk, but remember their stomachs are still small.
Yeah.
So let's not look at babies and our portions and think that the baby also needs big portions.
And even before we start, what would you describe as a balanced diet for a child?
Yes. So we have 7 food groups. And they come under the headings of, you know, energy-giving foods, muscle building, bodybuilding foods, which are the proteins. And then now we have also vitamin A. But now we break them down. So those are the big titles. So we must have things like grains. So we talk about the grains, which are the pastas and things like oats. So those are the grains. And then we have legumes and beans. So then we have legumes, so that's group 2. And then we have vitamin A rich foods, which tend to be orange.
All of them?
Yes, most of them are actually orange. Most.
Carrots, any other?
Carrots, butternut, sweet potato. So like this is an orange flesh sweet potato. You know, ngwashe sweet potatoes come in white and this orange. So we want orange, and it's very widely available. And then we have the carrots. But also, interestingly enough, and today we are going to prepare chicken liver. Chicken liver is also very high in vitamin A. So it's good to make note of that. And then now you have your greens, which are also important. And then you have your fruits, again, very, very important. And then things like potatoes, again, those are other vegetables. So altogether, there are 7 food groups. So in a day, we want to make sure that the baby has had at least 4 meals with 4 of those food groups. You see?
Yeah.
So you just combine them. And then we also want variety. You know, we can't give the baby every day the same thing.
I know.
Even us, we can't.
I know. They have taste as well.
Yes, they have taste as well. But that's how also you make sure that your baby is eating a balanced and nutrient-dense diet. Because you're changing it up. You're switching it up. And then, of course, we also have fats and oil. Very important. Because some of these vitamins are what we call water-soluble vitamins or fat-soluble. So they need fat in order to be able to absorb into the body properly. So you can't just keep boiling.
So fat, yani tuweke pia mafuta.
Coconut oil, sunflower oil, hizi ambazo zinakuanga cold pressed. Kwa hivyo tunajaribu not the mix and match, not a lot of the vegetable oil. So if we can get like one specific oil, coconut oil is very nice because it also adds flavor to the food. So that baby gets to get flavor because we are not adding salt. For the first 1 year,
Please repeat.
we are not adding salt. We are not adding salt, please.
Why?
Because salt is all about hypertension and things like those. You know, the reason why we take salt is because we need it's sodium. Yeah. Sodium chloride. So the sodium, we can get it from milk, number 1. So the same compounds we get from milk, but we also get that same chemical, chemical that is in salt from other foods. You see,
even if we cook it, like...
And you know, ideally this food is what we are also eating, but what we change is the texture for the babies to match their age. So this is the food that we are going to prepare for ourselves, and then we take some out, and then now ours we can add a bit of salt, because now salt is also fortified with iodine, which we do need. Because when we are deficient in iodine, then we have problems like goiter and things like those. But the baby does not need that much iodine either. So for the first 1 year, please, we avoid adding salt for the baby.
Noted.
So you'll see I don't have salt here, but I'll have things like turmeric, things like coriander.
Oh, you can put that.
Yes, so exactly.
The fresh ones, or we can have the ground
one. That's okay. But you see, that is a natural occurring spice and herbs. So that is fine. But the roikos, those ones already have salt as well. So we try to avoid, you know, those seasonings, the cubed ones. Yes, those kind of seasonings that we all call under one brand.
I know.
Yes, we all call it one name, but we know we are talking about the seasonings.
Very diplomatic, but thank you for that.
So for us, it's fine. But for baby, because it also has added salts, we try to avoid those now added seasonings. So we try and keep it as natural as possible, herbs and natural spices.
So what do we have here exactly?
Yes, so here I have an array of things. So let's say now it's in the morning, it's breakfast, so I have some oats here that I had prepared beforehand.
Oh, nice.
Yes, so nice oats. Because I had prepared them beforehand, they're not... They're looking a bit clumpy.
What did you do to them
exactly?
So
all I did is just boiling, So I boiled them in the sufuria with water, So it's very, very important to make sure that you boil them with water. You don't have to add milk. So before the 6 months, we don't want to also start adding cow's milk. So all I did was I boiled them in water. But again, they're not very tasty. So what am I going to do? I'm going to add an apple.
Oh, nice.
So I'm going to add some apple, which is also going to bring now that natural fruit sugar. Because fruits are very high in sugar. So again, even as we are doing all this, we are not adding sugar to meals.
Na nitakuletea kuna mtu ataonja. Kuna tester.
Kuna tester, very good, very, very, very good.
Someone atatuambia if this makes sense or not, You will.
So when we are preparing our apples, we can do one of two things. We can cook them in a bit of water, like 5 tablespoons of water in the sufuria.
We are cooking apples.
Yes, so we are just trying to soften them so that we can be able to mash them into the thing. So we can either cook them with a bit of water or we can steam them.
Let's see how they look like.
Yes, so now that is what they look like.
So unajua just giver or if
zitakuwa soft. Zitakuwa soft kwa sababu tunataka zibondeke. Kwa sababu unajua sasa lazima tuzimash. Ndio zichanganye vizuri na oats zetu. So tunahakikisha we put some water in the sufuria and then we boil the water. And as the water is boiling, we do what? We cover. This is just a sieve, kichungi tu. Then I put here, so it balances. I make sure that it's one that fits. And then I cover and it continues boiling. It boils for about 7 to 8 minutes. And what it does is that it retains all the nutrients. Unajua sasa nikichemsha, most of the nutrients end up in the water.
Yeah.
So that's why even if I'm boiling, I'm putting very little water just to make sure it doesn't burn.
That's it.
But that juice is the one I'm still going to use even in my oats, you see.
Oh, you've
this
used
is now,
them.
yes, so these are the ones that I had made. So this juice, we are going to make sure that this juice also goes into the oats.
Okay.
And that's the juice that came from the apples.
Apple.
Yeah.
So let me ask, the apples, you have to remove
So you
you
peel
peel.
your apple. So here it is.
Yes.
So this is now the one. So I peel my apple.
Okay.
And then I cut it into now these chunks.
Okay.
So I cut it like this. So I cut it like this, and then I'm going to put it in the sieve like this.
In the sieve.
Yes.
So
and then now put the water in the sufuria, and then I'm going to now boil it. You see? So now if I was to do it here, it's only that I don't have the water now. If I was to do it
so
here,
clearly we are not putting the apples inside.
no, we are trying to avoid that.
The water.
In case I don't have a sieve, I can put it inside, but with very little water.
So it has to be
Very
this
little.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So very little water, because we don't want to pour out water.
Good.
We don't want to cook where the water is too much.
Yes.
So we are pouring the water because the nutrients are in that water.
Good.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's why the steaming helps. And so you put some water. That water will continue boiling as you cover. So the steam cooks the apples.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure so many people are asking this. Josephine, how do I deal with this picky eater?
And that's why we are doing this. That's why we are now starting to add, we are adding this and then we are mashing it together. So you see as I'm mashing it.
Yeah.
So I'm mashing it like that. And it's mixing. So I mash. The apple is soft. Remember that the apple is soft.
Okay.
And then I'm adding some water also. So I add some of this water. So remember this was prepared a bit earlier. So it's not as soft. Imekauka kidogo. But you see now, and also that it's a bit cold.
Yeah.
But you see, when I mash, it starts to give it flavor. Because who wants to eat bland food?
So that's why they're
remember
picky.
I've said, yes, exactly. I've said we are not adding sugar.
Yeah.
So of course now it will taste so much better because apples are naturally sweet.
Okay.
And they also have quite a bit of sugar, yeah? So we try and get the red apples, yeah? The red apples tend to have more sugar. They are sweeter than, let's say, the green ones, yeah?
Okay.
So we try and get the red apples. And then as we are making, once we've cooked our oats, then now we mix in our mashed apples. We mash them vizuri.
Yeah.
Whether it's even porridge, it's something that we can do with porridge. With porridge, we can even now add like some
the
orange juice,
orange.
stuff like that. So things that just make it very nice and sweet.
But let me ask about the oats, because there's the issue of constipation as well.
Yes.
When now we are trying to wean the babies.
Yes.
So how can we avoid that?
Quantity. You don't give the baby this whole bowl.
Okay.
You see, you have to give them slowly, because they've come from drinking what? Milk.
Yeah.
So their digestive system is still getting introduced to now fiber, things like those, because fiber is the one, if you have too much fiber, we need fiber for our digestive system. But too much fiber, then now you start getting what? Constipation and things like that.
Okay.
And on that note, let me add this. You know the way we like, this one I have to mention the brand because it's a very popular
In a very positive way.
In a very positive way, because the good thing about this brand is that it's actually written there. It's written on the box that Vitabix is not suitable for young babies. And they say because of the amount of fiber. So what I like about it is that there's actually precaution. And it is on the box, but we don't read it. So it's not a bad thing, but even they know it is very high in fiber. So for babies under a certain age, they should not take too much fiber. You see, so it's even on the box. And it's very important to always say that, because people can say, no, niliambiwa nisimpatie hii kwa nini, and they think it's the brand. No, it's a high fiber food. You see, so again, we avoid very high fiber foods in large quantities.
Yeah. So that is from 1 year downwards.
Yes, 1 year downwards, even 2 years downwards,
2 years.
actually. Yes, we don't want a lot of fiber. So when we are starting with our baby, imagine this is what we are starting with. Like literally day one, this is our starter. Only.
And even before we start, you're holding such a very functional and pretty spoon. Because another challenge so many moms go through is now getting the correct utensils to now start weaning. So the bowls, the spoons. Now, what would you recommend about that?
And they're actually there. So we just need very small bowls. It's nice when they're colorful because the babies are attracted to color. You see?
Has to be colorful.
So then food is fun.
Yeah.
Because, you know, even for us as adults, what do we do around food? We socialize around food. We people who love cooking, you know, put love into food and things like those. So we want babies to grow with that positive relationship with food. You know, sio anaona kijiko anaanza kulia.
I know, ingine kubwa.
So we are trying, yes, exactly. So we are trying not to feed baby with this. And also just the taste of metal. You know, the taste of a metal spoon also changes in your mouth. The metal in your mouth can also change the taste of food. Yeah. So that's why you tend to find this a plastic spoon, and this is a spoon that as the baby grows, when they start feeding themselves, you see they can.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Yeah.
So you allow them to get messy, you allow them to touch.
It's very important. So even when you're serving babies from 9 months and they are starting to now touch their food, you want them to do that. So have even 2 servings if you must. You know, one that you know that they'll play with, and another one that now you can feed them as they are starting to self-feed.
Mimi nakumbuka zile nduru kuna mtu alikuwa anatoa. Akiona chakula. And then for us, my boy used to love malenge so much. Malenge itonga nini na kizungu?
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin, exactly. So he used to love it. And then when we discovered that, we started giving him every single day. Trust me, today, he cannot even stand the sight.
Of malenge,
Never ever. Hauwezi hata iangalia.
Even you. Would you want to eat food after you've eaten it every day for like 6 months?
I also don't eat it. Imagine. I was a picky eater.
Oh, yourself?
Yes. Nikiwa mdogo, and even my son has developed the same.
Also personalities and genetics.
Okay, but today we are learning. We are learning. Okay. So that is oats. Okay. We can do it for breakfast.
Yes, exactly.
I'd like to ask. So are they allowed to have something different for breakfast, something different for lunch, and also for dinner?
Ideally.
And can we do that thrice a day?
Yeah, if you can.
If you can.
If you can't, whatever it is that they've made you've made for lunch, they can also have for dinner. But try now to change it the next day. You remember the 7 food groups, and I said at least 4 a day of them in a meal. So then you see you have leeway to choose again. In this food group, what food group didn't I give yesterday? Let me now give it today. So that variety is very important.
Okay, back to the portions now. You're holding the spoon and you're showing us day 1.
So this is where we are starting from when we talk about now 6 months, 6, 7, and about 8. So we are gradually increasing our portions. So again, if I was to look at now something like this. So we are going to start. We are going to end up here. This is where we want at 1 year. You see, at 1 year. But you see, that is 6 months. So it's going to take us 6 months to go from this much, 1 tablespoon, all the way to here. So you see, it's a gradual process.
It is.
It's not that after 7 months we are going straight to here. Ati uji meja hapa. Kikombea uji. That is now at 1 year.
Okay.
So it's very important for parents to also be very patient. And that's why we say complementary feeding, because it is adding to breast milk.
So don't stop.
It is not taking away. Yes, exactly. So we are not stopping breastfeeding. We can't. We still need, the baby still needs those benefits of breast milk.
2 years. That's 1,000 days.
Yes, 1,000 days is 2 years. It's 2 years. So that's why we say even once the baby gets to 1 year, and actually the other day I had a mom who asked me this question. So her baby was, I think, 1 year and 2 months, and she's like, is there any benefit if I continue expressing milk to give the baby? And I said, actually there is. There's a lot of benefits. There's the immunity that they get from there. If the baby is not getting like that nutrient-dense diet, things like essential fats, the omegas, is still in milk. You see, and I forgot to mention, actually, egg is even a food group on its own.
Okay, talk about it.
Yes, because now most people are scared of adding, giving babies eggs from 6 months. You can. Yeah? Some people do have an allergy to eggs, but you can't, some babies, but you have to fast, or an intolerance. Allergy is quite strong.
Okay.
Because allergy now means you can see a very positive, negative reaction in the body. Yeah? But intolerance is where now they start scratching or they start breaking out and things like those.
Okay.
But you need to first start and then see what is happening. I've heard in some cultures, if a baby has eggs, they won't talk or something before 1 year.
Yes, they'll take time to talk. Oh, so it's a myth, yeah?
It's a myth, it's a misconception. We want that baby to get eggs from the beginning because of all the vitamins, and it's a low-cost protein as well.
Kienyeji ama kawaida? Which one?
Both. Kienyeji, of course, we prefer because now, you know, it hasn't been pumped with things. So depending on where you're getting, if Kienyeji, even for us, much better.
Oh, so it doesn't have like too much protein for the babies?
No.
So that's fine.
Okay.
That's a good one.
So that's important.
Aside from eggs now, I can see we have a lot.
Yes.
And after the break, what are we coming back to do?
So after the break, we're going to come back and prepare a very quick meal.
Yes.
With the chicken liver, like I had said. Okay. So very easy, very simple, and it's something that also the family can eat. But most importantly, from 6 months, babies can actually have chicken liver. Another misconception.
Hey! Watoto na hii economy. Chicken liver. Okay, I can't wait to see, and I can also see even greens.
Yes, very important greens. Yes, we can also add the greens.
Sawa. So guys, we just want to take a short commercial break. We are coming back with more. Josephine will still be here. Hapa tutaingia kwa upishi kidogo. And also remember that today my feet is from Lugo Collections. Please give him your money. He does amazing suits, bespoke for both ladies and gentlemen. Na ukitaka kumpata, he's even located in Nairobi CBD. Moktadada Street is the place to be, opposite Jivanji Gardens. You can find him on Instagram at Lugo Collection. So we're taking a short commercial break. Please also engage with us on our social media handles. Let us know, what challenges have you encountered from weaning stage to 1 year. Do you have a picky eater at home? So let us know. Our social media handles at KTN Home _ at Ali_Zaitun, and the WhatsApp line is 0759 434389. We are coming back shortly.
StarTime's home solar solution with solar panels, hybrid inverter, and lithium battery, empowering you to do the things that really matter. A complete and reliable home solar solution. Call us today. StarTime Solar. Power your life.
Great yummy taste, gotta hack it. I spread bread, pate nguvu, gotta pack it. Napaka nyweki design ya mokoro. Blue Band, Juni natural cocoa. 5 vitamins, una grow plus vitam nani tuna hack snack na ki Blue Band choco for your growth.
Je, unajua unafaa ku-update token meter yako? Steps ni 2 tu, kureset na ku-update. Kenya Power watakutumia message iko na code, alafu unaziweka kwa token meter yako.
Umesapota SMS kutoka Kenya Power? Sawa. Sasa ni kuweka code 1 kureset. Alafu weka code 2 ku-update. Karada, mtozi kulipishe. Usiachwe gizani nani. Update token meter yako leo. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Kenya Power and Lighting Company.
Ready to take your farm to the next level? The Farm Kenya Annual Mkulima Expo in Kitale is the place to be.
Hi there, this is Fuso Kenya. Welcome to Mkulima Expo at Ndura Grounds in Kitale on 24th to 26th. Hii ni wakati wa kuvuna na Fuso FI 10 ton ndio the best solution for this time. Na iko on special offer. Mkulima mdogo hajasaulika, we have 2 to 7 tons Fuso Canter na inakuja na 10,000 liter water tank for free. See you there and book a free demo with us. You can also call us on 0703 046 000.
Don't just watch from the sidelines. Be part of the action at the Farm Kenya Expo, brought to you by Farm Kenya, powering the future of farming, transforming lives.
Cooking is an art. You have to really have a lot of passion, a dedicated heart to do the food of art. Our biryani is ready. Catering is about time. Ukiambiwa na mtu nataka hii nyama yangu by saa 7, you leave your kitchen at 11:30.
When I have back pain, I reach for 2 tablets of Panadol Extra for fast relief of strong pain, like headache, toothache, muscle pain, and I'm released from pain to be there for those who need me. Try Panadol Extra for fast and effective relief from strong pain. New Panadol Extra Soluble dissolves twice as fast versus standard paracetamol tablets.
This week on Manspective Africa.
I remember when I was 16 years old, I went to Vihiga High School in Western. And now I became the bad boy, you know.
Yeah.
But I was the silent type. I was more master, organizer, strategic.
Yeah.
So, Nashikwa, come to me, there's zero evidence. I remember my mom was almost crying when I told her I'm quitting school. And she was like, nisomee tu basi ufike form 4. Waseme at least mtu yangu alimaliza form 4. Nisikae vibaya. You're in Riadha, and so I'm meeting people from Zimbabwe, Zambia. Imagine we have to chap a story in English. Ibambi bana. Unajua there are stories you're supposed to actually speak in your language.
The lessons that you learned that if you were to give anyone would help them navigate through life.
I'm an effort of so many men and women in Kawangware. They taught me lessons that cannot be even, you can't find them in books. A lesson like kindness, you have to meet people, you have to know them, you have to share.
Only on KTN Home.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is Health and Wellness. My name is Zaitun Ali. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, the topic of discussion is infant and child nutrition. Joining me right here on set, we have been with her at the first part of the show, Josephine Wandia. She is a maternal, infant and child nutrition advisor. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And I told you guys, hapa tunaandaa. We just want to know the varieties of food that we can cook for our babies, for them to enjoy meals, just like you as a grown-up enjoy your meals. So Josephine, naona kuna kitunguu. Mimi nakulia, nimelia machozi mingi sana. Let me come to this side. Well, Lia too. But yeah, let's see what you're doing.
Okay, so now we start with our onions.
Okay.
Yeah, as usual. So onions, again, are very flavorful. Yes, onions are very good, so let's not be scared. Okay. And this, what I'm making now is something that you can make for your baby from, let's say month 7, okay. Because month 6, remember I was talking about the tablespoons, where we are using very small quantities. So from now, month 7 is where, and month 6 we are still introducing pole pole too.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm grating because
you're
it's
grating onions.
I'm grating my onions because it's much easier.
There's something I also want to ask, not grating, blending.
Yes, blending, we don't want to blend too much. Machozi tayari imeanza.
Umeanza kulia. Na venye nimeona umetoa the upper part. But then mimi hii ni kuwaste yote. Ona venye umetoa kubwa.
Wacha kwanza ni nini? Na hii economy, si ndio?
Unajua kitunguu sasa ni how much? 10 bob. Tita to 20, 10 bob. Wengine 15. Na ya 5 unapoa inakaa kama plums.
Just plums.
Zilienda wapi?
Yeah, I think out of season.
Oh, really?
In the way we've been, we growing up, we used to have so many plums.
So many. Yellow, ile red.
Lakini bado barabara ninaonanga watu wengine wanauza.
Okay. So why do you grate?
It's much easier to cook. Hatutaki kublend. Unakumbuka vile tulikuwa tunasema juu ya blend. trending.
Lia tu, sijali, lia.
Na makeup yangu ikianza kunini,
Don't worry.
msicheke.
Don't worry.
So we've blend, you see, so that we don't have to blend. So you know what happens with blending and why we are avoiding blending,
Yeah.
is because the baby needs to learn how to chew.
Okay.
You see, watu wengine wana blend, and hata wacha nijiseme, kwa sababu watu wengine wana blend until a baby is 1 year. That baby goes to school even at 2 years, ajawai tafuna chochote.
Oh no.
And you see, we get scared. Yeah? So here I'm using some coconut oil. Coconut oil, which is very commonly found. We can't complain. Ati atuna
mafuta. Commonly found. I can say it's budget. So which other oil can we use?
Even your sunflower oils, anything like that. Olive oil not so much, again because of budget. Vile ulikuwa unasema kwa sababu ya budget. Sindio? Imewaka. Okay. So again because of budget. Sawa.
Na gas ni poa. Kwanza gas yangu imeisha leo.
Uende nayo nyumbani.
Nimetoka kai imeisha.
So this is actually a very nice nini for camping. Ukiwa huko ukijipata ama nini imepotea.
Hata tukimaliza tu hapa, hii ndio sapa yetu.
Hiyo ndio sapa.
We have so many testers over here, you know.
So I get my onions. Nakikisha I'm not wasting anything. Anything else we can use like now with a different meal. Okay.
So the ones from east side Yambele you're not using is that?
Yes, because I don't want to have very hard things. Kwa sababu nitamash, nataka kumash. Unaona? So if it's too hard, it becomes an issue. So we are not going to use that one.
And even as you're continuing, there's something you mentioned about allergies and reaction. And you said probably you won't term it as an allergy, but now what's the difference? Because how do we know? My son probably can't eat eggs and I react this way. How does a mom get to know that?
It has to be a reaction, imagine, unfortunately. That is the reality of the matter, is that it's usually just a reaction.
So you have to give.
Yeah, and then so that's why we also say, and I know what can I say? The protocols, the advice is changing. Because before we used to say, take every 3 days, you introduce a new food. And the reason why they say 3 days is because you can watch for a reaction. You see?
3 days.
Yes, 3 days. Because you see, now if I start, let's say, with oats, which we call it a non-allergen. If I mix oats and then I've also started with what? With eggs the same day and all of that. If there's a reaction, I might not know what has caused the reaction. Yeah? But now when we know low allergen foods, for instance, I can now give, let's say, butternut and spinach.
Yes.
Because I'll know, like spinach, who reacts to spinach? You know, it would have to be a very, very strong, you know. So you can now do those things, those mixes.
What about skuma? Acidity, blah, blah, blah?
No, that is okay. You see, even now I'm using what? I'm using tomatoes.
Oh, so let's see.
Sometimes you get, you find people saying, no, don't introduce tomatoes because what?
Acidity.
Acidity. But tomatoes are also rich in vitamin C. And vitamin C helps us to absorb iron. You see? So there are some things that we need to do. Or you find that you can add orange juice to a meal at the end to help with that absorption that I'm talking about. You see? So it's very important to have now these things from the beginning. Also, flavor. Yeah.
Tomato you've peeled.
I've peeled the tomatoes, yes, that you can see that I've peeled it. Because sometimes now that will also be difficult for mashing. If I leave the skin on, you see.
So it gets easier?
Yeah, it's easier for mashing. Yeah, so we'll just use our tomatoes. And using the smaller side of my grater means you'll see I have like, it's more juice than chunks. We are trying to avoid chunks at this point in time because this is our small baby. Or I can feed my toddler who is a bit bigger, and maybe if I've done spacing vizuri, my 2-year-old or 2.5-year-old can eat.
Hapo kwa spacing muhimu.
Sana. Kwanza vile unasema hii budget. We can't do doremi.
Kuna watu bado wana prefer. I don't know. Labda budget mimi na wewe tu tunaongelea.
But even me, as you
Masha, unasema doremi.
As you say that, I'm also a doremi parent. Yes, I am.
You've spaced by how many years?
My first son is about to turn 15. So right now,
Ona mrembo. You don't look like a
he's turning 15 in December. Imagine. Nice. Then I have 13 and a half. Then I have 11 and I have 7. So I had
And
four.
then there is Zaitun with one at 5.
So I had the 4 of them within 7 years. I will not encourage that. Na school fees. Tunatoa wapi?
Nilikuwa nauliza. Nilisikia wanakujanga na sahani zao. Hizi sahani. So this is what we are preparing. Now this is lunch and dinner.
Yes, this is lunch and dinner.
Breakfast we already had.
So this is lunch and dinner. We've had breakfast, yeah?
You said
so now
it is chicken liver.
Chicken liver. So you know what happens is that we like the thighs, the breasts.
Exactly.
And then we forget about the liver and the heart, which is very rich in iron and vitamin A. Yeah? Okay. And at this point in time, let me mention, the reason why we're even starting this complementary feeding at 6 months is because the amount of iron in the baby's body starts going down. So babies are born with a certain amount of iron in their body. Yeah? And then breast milk, some things in breast milk help that conversion of iron so that now it's able to work better in the baby's body. Yeah? But those stocks of iron in the baby now start going down.
Actually, and it brings me to another question.
Yeah.
At what point do you now have to supplement such iron, calcium, because probably your child is not getting enough?
And you see, we are not supplementing. Why aren't we supplementing? Because supplementing means that we've lost something in the diet.
Okay.
So that's why we are not supplementing. If I start to supplement, it means that my baby is not getting something from the diet. You see? So right now, if my baby is anemic, it means I haven't been giving them animal foods. And that's why animal foods are very important. Yeah, because that is where that iron comes in. Vitamin A, that's why a food group on its own is vitamin A rich foods. Because vitamin A also starts to go down. There's not enough in milk to keep that baby healthy. You see? And energy. So that's why we are cooking with what? Fat. We are cooking with oil. Yeah, to make sure that the baby gets energy. Yeah, we are not going to put a lot. And then when I finish, I can add a bit more. Kwa sababu unaona hii tayari has been absorbed elsewhere. Some of it has burnt off and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, but
so,
this is good.
Yeah.
Now, another thing, there are foods that are particular in terms of child growth and development. What we say, kichwa ya samaki, itafanya brain akwe as smart as you know. Are there specific food for such purposes?
Yes, and the reason they say that, especially that fish, is those omegas I was talking about. Essential fatty acids are important for brain development. And even as adults, kwanza as we are aging, we have to make sure even as we take those, remember, hizo cod liver oil na vitu kama hizo. Yes, exactly. And that's why they were, siku hizi they are very privileged.
Alafu later on they wanaweka za flavors, orange. I had
but that is why it is so important. And then now I can bring some of my liver.
Nimesimama tu na scan cast side.
And some water when nipigie tu story sawa. And then we try not to cut liver. We try and when I'm cutting my liver, I'm also going to use a completely different chopping board. So meats, we use a different chopping board and we use different knife. Kwa sababu sasa hatutaki kumix. We cannot mix our meats and our vegetables. So we use a different chopping board. Please, at home also. It's very, very important, any meats.
So tukimaliza
tunaweka raw meat board. Yes, exactly. Alafu una nini, because raw meat also has its own dangers and things like those.
So you've not boiled it?
No, I haven't boiled it. It will cook quickly. You can boil it if you want, by the way, and that's fine. But remember what we were talking about, boiling the foods, because now the nutrients from here, if I boil it, will go where?
Itakuwa
kwa maji. You see? So we are trying to make sure that we are not boiling a lot, and we'll add a bit of water. Yeah? If we boil it, it will be, this is now chicken liver. If we boil it, it will be very little water.
And beef?
Yes, we can boil beef. But also, let's not boil it to the point where the meat is now white, the water is red, and then that's the water that we are doing what? That's the water that we are throwing away. You see, we don't want to do that. Soup? Yes, and then you can use it for soup. But give the baby the meat. Yeah, because what we do is that we boil, and then we give the baby the water, the soup, and we don't give them the meat. So now what will happen? You see, it becomes an issue.
Mimi kuna kitu nikipika siwezi kosa kuweka. Saumu. Kitunguu saumu na ginger.
Very important.
So can I also do it? Can I put it?
And that's exactly what we are doing now.
Oh, konayo. Nice. Nice. Okay.
We have some
so
of that. And then we have
ginger.
a bit of coriander and turmeric.
Oh,
You remember what I was telling you about it?
Yeah.
What I was telling you in terms of having what? Having the spices, the natural spices.
So
it's
spices
very, very
you can
important.
use turmeric?
Yes, spices you can use turmeric, you can use the coriander, fresh coriander is even better.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
So the fresher, the better. Just with anything that we are cooking. Sindio?
All right.
So the fresher, the better. I hope CJ pour. I switched it off by mistake. Okay, there. So the fresher, the better. I didn't put the turmeric. And then a bit of the turmeric to give it some color.
Okay.
And you see, the reason why even people use all these spices for cooking is that in themselves, they have their own benefits, you see.
Yeah.
Si tunatumia turmeric pia kwa uso. Those turmeric
by
masks.
the way. Even soap. Naonanga kuna za turmeric.
Yes,
But
because it has
kwa uso ama
antioxidants.
nitakula, sure. Hapo kwa skincare wengine. Kwa skincare.
Pick a struggle.
I can see kamande. But then my boy loves kamande sana.
Oh, that's very nice. Also very high rich in protein.
Okay.
So that's something, a meal I had made before. Remember when I was telling you variety?
Yeah.
You see now here we have the meats here. Yes. Here at least we have some meats. Now there, that is all vegetarian. We can call it, let's say, vegetarian. Let's do this a bit.
Na watu wanajitanga vegetarian, wanakujanga kwa vegetarian wakiwa wakubwa ama watoto pia. Like are there people who prefer their babies to be like, okay,
you know, usually sometimes, yes, I was going to say that. You know, for them sometimes it's also a religious thing.
Okay.
Yeah, for them it's also religious. So hatuwezi atikuwa nini.
Okay.
We can't blast them because of the fact that for them they have to be like that. But they have to be very careful because we also get a vitamin called B12 from meat, from animal flesh foods. And B12 gives us energy. It's a very, very, very important vitamin. So if you're vegetarian, you have to make sure that you're supplementing. Now, those are the ones who might have to supplement.
They'll have to.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
depending on your diet. Like I was saying, supplement, even in the English word, supplement means to add, to close a gap.
Okay.
You're supplementing because whatever it is that you're getting is not enough. You see? So I need to close that gap. Okay. Why? How? With now supplements. Now that's almost like medication. Yeah. And that's why you find sometimes even I'll add some potatoes. So I had boiled these before.
And I can see time is not on our side. We're gonna like 10 minutes.
Wow,
Imagine.
wow.
Guys, I hope you're communicating with us on our social media handles at KTN Home _. That is on Instagram, Twitter. Oh, not Twitter, X. Alafu, pia, WhatsApp line 0759434389. Tuambie, do you like what we're doing? What is your child's probably favorite meal? I know moms have different styles
their own thing,
of cooking. But this is the recommended one. But you can also share whatever you do at home. And probably I can also mention a few things I'm seeing here, Josephine. Ini pasta ama ini nini?
Yes, ini pasta.
Oh, nice. So it's also good for
yes.
For
remember
children?
when I was saying the grains? So that's one of the food groups.
Pasta, kamande, apa.
And this is what this kamande, the one that you were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
You boiled the kamande. So the same thing I did. I grated. Yes, I wanted to show now in your texture ya mtoto mdogo. Now from about 7 months. So now kwa sababu is more mashed. In ndio sasa utapatia kutoka 9 months ajichagulie.
Na yume mix na carrot ama ni your sweet potato?
This is now the sweet potato.
Okay.
Sweet potato and the same spices, evo.
Very
nice. Yeah.
Okay.
It's very, very nice, by the way. It's even sweeter, the orange one. It's very, very nice.
Waru ni akadhupu ama hii nakusaidia aje? Sijaingililia mtu, please. Mimi nimeongea tu.
Sio mashakura.
Sio mashakura. It is needed, yeah?
Yeah,
but
I mean potatoes also, exactly. They have their own benefits. So it's good. And you see here, because I said like liver is...
Kai nimegusa murima. Sorry. I am sorry. I am sorry. It wasn't intended. Yeah.
So because of the fact that liver is high in vitamin A, we are not going to add a sweet potato. or butternut.
Okay.
Because that will now be too much vitamin A. Okay, so that's why I've also added potatoes. Potatoes as my root vegetable, so to speak. And I haven't added carrot either because, again, chicken liver is very high in vitamin A.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's almost like a complete food because it's also high in iron. So we are closing many gaps just by using chicken
that
liver.
makes sense. So at least we are trying to make it more appealing.
Yes, exactly.
For the picky eaters.
Yes, for the picky eaters.
This is it.
So as it starts getting softer, you see, I'm able to mash.
Nice.
Can you see why liver is so nini?
Varaka, like 10 minutes.
Yes,
because we've not been here for long.
And you see, so I mash it.
Yeah.
It's not looking very nini at the moment. Also, my heat is quite high. My kameko, I'm trying to make sure that it doesn't So you see, so once it's ready, I should be able to mash it. Lakini bado ni nyekundu kidogo. But I just want to show. It's just a demonstration to show that you can actually mash liver, and that's why you're able to eat. The baby is able to eat liver from when? From as young as the 6 months, the 7 months. So it's very, very important to remind parents of that. We can still have this liver from a very young age.
Oh, nice. I like your cooking tools, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Ni kama tutaona
kwa hivyo pia gas cooking tools.
Thanks. Uzuri unashikanisha haraka.
Naona umekuja shopping kweli.
Please ziwache tu hapa.
Umekuja shopping.
Hata si twende tujaribu. Inakanizi ndo zinafanya chakula inakuwa mzuri.
Yes, but it's a cooking tools.
Yeah. So but in a nutshell, probably give an advice to all moms who are weaning, who are now just introducing food to these young chums out here. What we need to do just before we wind up.
Don't be afraid to feed your children a variety of foods.
Okay.
The one thing, there's an acronym we call AFAS. Yeah. So A is for amount.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it adequate? Yeah. Is it enough? Yeah. And then we also have that one is for supplementing. I've gone on a complete.
Really?
It's called FATVA.
Okay.
Frequency. Yeah, and then we do have amount.
Okay.
And then we have V is variety. Yeah. And then we have active feeding. Feeding. As in ukilisha mtoto unamwangalia.
hivi.
Exactly.
Mbona ukuli?
Thank you. Texture and hygiene.
Active.
Yes. Active and responsive feeding.
Okay.
Yeah. Texture and hygiene.
Wow.
Yeah, because hygiene means that what I was talking about. Unaona sasa vile nimetengeneza hii chakula. Pale nimetengeneza, is it a clean space?
Okay.
You know, am I using drinking water to add to things when I'm boiling and things like those? Because remember, when we are boiling, we don't want to throw away that water. Tunataka bado tutumie hiyo maji. So what kind of water? Am I cleaning my hands in between as I'm cooking? Yeah, is my space hygienic? So things like those.
Okay.
So now here we have what it would look like I'm saying, by the time we are done, you see this is now mashed with, we have some mash here, we have some potato here, and then we have some liver on this side.
Okay.
So this is what now I can serve my small baby, and I'll keep mashing it.
This one for how old?
This is now, let's say 7 months. I keep mashing it, so that it can mix vizuri. Hii iko hapa. Looks like my liver was in an accident. This one I cut into pieces. Yeah, I cut into small pieces. That is 9 months, 10 months, hapo. Then they can be able to feed themselves, especially 9 months, 10 months.
Nice.
I cut them into pieces.
Yeah.
And then even the potato, you see, now let me put this into sections. So you see this one. If I cut this liver into pieces, and even this potato just into a bit smaller, this is now this is my 9-10 month old Evo.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are starting from this corner over here, 6-7 months, hapo, and then here gradually making the pieces a bit bigger so that they can learn how to chew, and then eventually the finger foods.
So you ndio wa mwisho.
Yes,
wanaweza
exactly.
kula bila
yes,
stress.
Exactly. So like that.
Nice.
So let me just switch it off.
And even before we finish, you know how you've mashed them.
Yes.
How do we prevent a baby from choking, you know?
Yes.
What factors lead to that?
Yeah. So even when we are looking at something like, let's say, carrots, when we are cutting carrots, so let's say I've grated my carrot. Let me take my knife over here. So I cut my carrot and then I grate my carrot. I'm going to cut it lengthwise, you see? So I'm going to make sure that I'm cutting it lengthwise. Ndio sasa mtoto akishika, you see, like this, oopsie. So I'm cutting it lengthwise like this.
All right.
So when they're holding it, you see they're biting in small, small pieces. And then I can steam this. Or I can boil it in a little bit of water. Sour.
Okay.
Or even just pan fry it. And then I make sure that it's in a way that, because if I cut round or something like that, then it's easy for it to get stuck here. If I cut it at now, the way my whole carrot, if I give my baby and this is what I'm giving them, it can be an issue if it's round.
Okay.
The same with things like grapes, the same with this, what we had here, yeah?
Apple.
Yeah, even the apple, you see now it's nice and soft. It's very hard to choke on something like this because it's very nice and soft.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's very important to make sure that you're doing that age appropriate. That's where the texture comes in of that fatva I was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, so what is the texture?
Yeah.
Based
Clearly,
on age.
like how you've done this, because
Yes,
you can't
exactly.
give this portion to like 7 months.
Because they still haven't learned even how to chew. They even swallowing is an issue, and there's a reflex. Reflex.
Okay.
And it's
Hebu tuseme hiyo jina tena.
reflex. That gag reflex. It's there to protect the baby because you see they've been breastfeeding, so they only know liquids. Yeah, let's not get scared because that's how we end up blending for 2 years.
I know,
because now we'll say alikuwa anakaa kama anachoke. Kwa hivyo sikukuwa nataka nini kumpea.
Mtu ogopa.
Yes, mtu ogopa. Yeah, so let's not be scared.
Okay.
And then I forgot to say that also courgette is very nice to add. We forgot to add our courgette. And you can either add that, you see. And even my courgette, I do the same thing. I cut it and then I grate it. Inaweza kuigrate upande huu. You see, I cut it and I grate it. Ivo. Wacha niwaonyeshe tu. I won't add it now, it's a bit too late. But once I grate it, you see, inakuwa hivyo.
So you can add.
And then you can add it as you're adding the everything else, our tomatoes and all that. So it will be ready by the time I'm done with everything. And the same with this. Even this, we add it towards the end. Because we want it to be as fresh as possible. We don't want to overcook our vegetables. Yeah.
Kai, we've had such an amazing session. Asante sana. Na ulikuwa unasema uwezi multitask kupika. You've tried so much.
Nimejaribu brain cells.
Tutorials. Tumezima hii gas. Watu wangu. Tumezima hii gas ndo niende nayo nyumbani. Hizi pia nitaosha hapo pole pole. I'll remain here eating some apples and I have some people to help me taste this chicken liver. Yeah, but thank you so much for joining us. I hope this has been very insightful to you. Na tusiogope, umesikia? Umesema inaitwa?
Fatva.
Fatva.
Yes, frequency. Amount, variety, active feeding, texture,
and hygiene. Good. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Health and Wellness. My name is Zaitun Ali. Where can they find you, Josephine?
They can find me at the Kenya Association for Breastfeeding page. Yes. We are on all the socials.
Wow.
Yes.
So at breastfeeding pia ni mnoma. She knows it all. Any type of food and nutrition and maternal health, she's good at it. So you can look for her. Thank you so much. Until next time, remember this episode will be up on YouTube at KTN Home and follow us on all our Instagram, Twitter. Twitter, X, Facebook. We are everywhere, even TikTok. Yeah. Until next time, guys, it has been a good show. See you later.